Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Vlog 3. I'm Terra Firma. About to educate you guys. So first of all, I just want to have a little intro here and let you guys know that what I want to talk about is interplanetary colonization, I guess you could call it. Basically go into space and find a rock and make a planet out of it and send people to live there and reproduce there. Sounds crazy, right? But there's actually plenty of material out in space. If you look at, I found this really cool diagram the other day. Hopefully, I have the time to put it in here. I found this really cool diagram the other day of planets that just have random shit. Like, there's a planet that's made up of nothing but diamonds. That would be great for, industrial use. And like, I don't know if I already mentioned before, but there's enough material in the main asteroid belt, which is by definition between Mars and Jupiter. There's enough mass there to build enough space habitats or space colonies, whatever have you, to equal the habitable surface of 3,000 Earths. So obviously there's plenty of material out there. There's more than enough, way more than enough. But I mean, there's not just diamond out there. We can find gold, aluminum, iridium, iron, titanium, silver, osmium, palladium, platinum. I can go on forever. Tungsten, nickel, plenty of carbon, obviously. We can make things extra strong with carbon nanotubes. I found a cool picture of carbon nanotubes earlier. I hope that gets in the video. Sorry. And I think we're going to need self-replicating machines, which is basically just a machine that is built to automatically make new versions of itself based on shit that it finds around its environment. Like, so when it's mining for something and it gets worn out, it can just take some of the iron rock that it took and just make itself a new arm or something if it needs to. I think that would be a really great idea. Also, there's Molly B out there, which is the main ingredient of, like, the most common type of grease ever. Like, if you've seen really dark gray grease on your car, that's Molly B. There's plenty of that in space. And you can find it on the moon, Mars, asteroids. And obviously, as I said before, there's plenty of asteroids to mine from. Our space colonies are going to need to be small enough to allow for efficient transportation, but large enough to support industrial base. I think that would be really cool to see them two mixing together. Also, you should keep in mind that due to space being completely weightless, we're going to be able to construct really large, heavy stuff because it's not going to be heavy anymore in space. It's not going to matter how heavy it is. We can make it as big as we want. And there have been a lot of designs submitted to NASA for space colonies, and pretty much everybody can agree that the aluminum and steel that we find in these planets can make something similar to window frames in space, and they are going to be able to withstand the stress of the air pressure in the habitat. And I know people are thinking, oh no, that doesn't sound like a lot of protection, but that's the point. My point is, you don't need to worry about any atmosphere leaking out. It's going to be fine. I wrote down some more notes about stuff that I thought was interesting before, but I'm just going to try and keep this short. Obviously, there's plenty of light in space. If you just look at Earth, for example, there's enough power per square meter. It's like, let me check. It's 1,400 watts of power per square meter on Earth, which is quite a lot considering you're not going to ever need anything more than like 2,000 watts for home use. And that's just per square meter on Earth after light travels through atmosphere and everything. So you can only imagine how much is in space. We can just put these, because basically how solar power works is it takes the light, which is photons of energy, and it literally bounces it back off of a mirror. And when it goes back, we've developed something that can capture the centrifugal force of the photons to create energy, and that's all that solar energy is. It's a fucking mirror. So, and obviously mirrors are really cheap. I broke one in my last house, and it cost me like €20 to replace. Um, but anyways, what I'm trying to say is you can stick these mirrors on the outsides of your little atmosphere shell and be good to go, definitely, on power. And we can use that power to grow plants, and which will give us oxygen, and we'll give them nitrogen, and they'll give us oxygen. Or we'll give them hydrogen. Where was I going with this? Anyways, plants. Oh, and for the atmosphere, it's only gonna need this really smart guy, Gerard K. O'Neill, basically discovered that we're only gonna need about half of the atmosphere pressure that we have now. Not pressure necessarily, but like the core ingredients of our atmosphere are oxygen and nitrogen. 30% of that is nitrogen, and we're gonna need half that. We would only need half that for these colonies for some reason. And gravity's not going to be an issue either, because we're just going to spin the planet, the colony that we build. We're just going to spin it. There's already plenty of theories out there that work. They're designed by, physicists. And I mean, you can put something spinning inside something bigger. Either way, it doesn't matter. You're gonna have about 1 g of artificial gravity. You can make your planet in a disc shape to control how much gravity goes where, for example. Like what I'm trying to say is, if you have the center of your planet here and then the planet actually goes out like this, you can actually control the amount of gravity is in places. You can use that to your advantage. For example, there's not going to be any gravity in the center, so that spaceships can land. Or maybe on the far outside, you could probably have some badass car races, because you'd be gripping the asphalt really good, really well. Which kind of reminds me, I think there's going to be, just as like a little side note, I think there's going to be some awesome transportation ideas in the future, because you're not really going to have to worry about weight anymore. You can just maybe go through like a little tunnel out of the shell that holds the atmosphere, and just go jump real quick, and then there's something that brings you back down, and now you're on the other side of the colony. Who knows. As far as there's so many ideas that I've found on the internet about this. Like, for example, giant sails. I hope I have enough time to edit this video and put that picture in here, but it's kind of crazy. It's basically a solar powered sail that propels things in space. That's been designed. Just plenty of things have been designed. And what I'm trying to get at is, it doesn't always have to be that complicated. For example, anti-radiation, all you need for that is rocks. Rocks are the best for anti-radiation. And that would also protect against other threats as well. And I don't really need to add this, but mass drivers. Mass drivers are a great idea. It's basically just a big catapult, a massive catapult powered by magnets that launches things from one. I won't even call it a planet, from one space mass to another space mass. Those have already been designed and engineered, just ready to go. They're ready to build them and start using them. Those are going to be sick. They will revolutionize everything. I'm sure of it. If anybody else has ideas for my next video, give me just send me a message or comment below. Sorry if this one wasn't as interesting as the last one. And yeah, look forward to hearing from you soon. Oh yeah. Prost.